Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is the top 7 favorite nights of the week. That's Tuesday night. Why is Tuesday night so popular? It's because the one and only handyman, music guru, do-it-yourself, fix it up around the house, paint it, make it look pretty guy is with us, Brian Esred. Good evening, Brian.
Good evening, John. Thank you for that fine introduction. I appreciate it.
If you guys have been following Brian's channels this week, he has been a busy man. He has been fixing steps. He's been painting. He's been doing light videos. He's been insulting people. I mean, he's just been covering all the bases.
Been very busy. Well, you know, when you're on a DJ salary, you got to kind of do it yourself. Can't hire it done. So you got to figure it out or, you know, live in a dump. So I've been working on it. My daughter's graduation is coming up and we're having a party here at the house. I thought, hey, what a great economic way to do this. But then it occurs to me, I got a lot to do before people come over. All these unfinished projects. So I'm just a mad dash to get everything done. So anyway, that's what I've been doing.
Yeah, we had that last year with Matthew, and it's like, how did May get here? How did June get here?
And I keep seeing on things, oh crap, I didn't finish that either. So it's a snowball. But we'll do videos. We'll do videos too. So.
Yeah, they can keep those in there. You guys thanks for joining us in the chat room. We had Robin, Howie, Buttery, DJ Dave, Ian, whom I think I hit everybody, unless we've got John is up there. Thank you guys for joining us tonight. We've got, of course, our 2 Tuesday night shows. First one, we're going to talk more music specific. And then the second one, it seemed like we had a lot of wedding questions. And so I was able to take 10 of them and kind of put them together. So we've got our second half hour might go.
10 wedding questions. All right.
Yeah. So Daniel, thank you for joining us. So if you guys have got any questions, throw those in the chat tonight on YouTube, where that's where we're going to be pretty much following. Tonight, we're going to talk about mini sets. We've been kind of talking about this a little bit off and on. And I'd ask you guys to do in the chat room is to share some of your mini sets. And Brian, kind of define for those out there, when we're talking mini sets, what are we talking about?
It's a term I think I just kind of came up with. If someone else was using it before me, great. But it's just what I call them. In the bar business, it's different than if you're in the mobile DJ business because you have a different objective. What you want to do is make people drink. So I got into this habit very early on to do mini sets where I would bring a group onto the dance floor. Let's say I have a lounge. I have a group of people who like oldies. Mm-hmm. I'm going to do an oldies set of 3 or 4 tunes. And then I'm going to stop playing that oldies set. I'm going to start playing some other kind of music. It's going to clear my dance floor. And I know that. It's an intentional thing that I do. But it's great because they're thirsty and they're ready to have a drink. Then I'll start playing an R&B set. And I'll bring that group out. I'll build them up 3 or 4 songs. And then kill it and send them back into the bar. And maybe do like a country set next. That's where I learned how to do this. And I actually use it for my weddings as well. It works pretty good for a mixed crowd. Mm-hmm. So that's what we're talking about, the mini sets.
Yeah. And I think that's something that coming back from the club days and when I did the bar on a consistent basis, it's interesting the similarities we have and how we handled ourselves back in the day. It's really really interesting.
Well, even if I go back in, I'll jump in once in a while and do a club. It's been a few years, but I'll go in. And it's like riding a bike. I mean, you just kind of watch it. It's like, okay, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to play to these people, bring them out, get them thirsty, send them to the bar. And then I'm going to bring this group out. And you can, once you've been doing it for a while, you can just do it. It's not a big deal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. It's just that little bit of tweaking of the music, the newer music.
I'm sorry, John. The interesting thing about it is when you do this properly, the bar ends up making a lot of money, but they don't even know why. Because you don't tell them why. Yep. You just think you're just awesome, and people love to drink when you're there. And you'll ask them, hey, do you make more money on the nights I work, or do you make more money on the nights that Jeff works? It's like, oh, dude, we make tons of money when you work. We always want you in here. They have no idea why.
Yep.
But this is why, because we're rotating the crowd. So
and that's a huge thing for sure. But, of course, with weddings, you don't really rotate the crowd in the same way.
For that reason, but you still have to rotate the crowd because you have people out there from all these different walks of life. Yeah. And you have to play the variety. So that's why I started doing it for the wedding set. It wasn't to sit into the bar It was literally to just switch up the genre
Mm-hmm.
and to know that mom and dad probably aren't going to dance to the same thing that the teenagers are going to dance to. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. So let's play specialty sets for these folks.
For sure, for sure. So
With
let's
any
jump
set.
into giving an example of one of our little mini sets that we would use at a wedding.
One I've talked about in the last couple weeks. I'll just talk about it now because this is an example of what a mini set can be. After the first slow dance at a wedding, I can do a song like Pharrell's Happy to get everyone onto the dance floor. Literally, everyone comes out for that song. It's amazing. I love that tune. After that, I'll go into like an oldie set and I'll play the twist. I'll keep most everyone for the twist. After the twist, I'll do twist and shout. After twist and shout, I will do shout. It's my little trifecta there of twist, twist, and shout. And say it really fast 3 times, and it'll help you with any kind of a cognitive disorder you have. But anyway, it works really well, and it builds because the twist is cool. Twist and shout is cooler, but shout is a party tune, and everybody wants to jump up and down. So when I do these mini sets, one thing that I do want to point out is I'm trying to build them from good, better to best. So I start off with a good song, but I end with a great song because you build them up, and then once you get them to the top, you can kill it.
Yep. And I've got a similar one, sticking with kind of an older crowd mentality is when I'm coming out of a slow set, because at a wedding early in the night, I might just do single slow songs just to have one here, have one there. But as the evening progresses, I will do, especially if I'm doing like an older slow that are shorter slow songs, I'll do 2. But the way I'll do the second, generally it's the second set of oldies I'm doing. My first set's going to be within the first half hour of kicking off the dance. The second set, I would come out of that slow set with either Unchained Melody or Can't Help Falling in Love with You. Then I'm going to go into that, and we talked about this in one of the other shows, Run Around Sue. Even though it's not a great message for a wedding song, we're going to add that to Cecilia and all these other songs.
Right.
But it starts
Bonnie
out
Girl.
you're doing that slow dance, and they're doing that the Unchained Melody, and then here's my story, sad but true. And the people who know it are big, and they can do their little jitterbuggy things and their swingy dance things to it. From that to Pretty Woman.
Yeah.
I'm using the Pretty Woman off the Pretty Woman soundtrack compared to other versions. I believe the one that came out on, there was Mobile Beat. It was one of those DJ compilations. It was DJ Tools, Mobile Beat, the Platinum Series. One of them just wasn't the version I like to use.
Yeah.
So
And there are slightly different versions of those songs, different remasters and things of that nature. And
exactly.
different recordings altogether. I mean, sometimes you get an early recording, sometimes you get a studio, sometimes you get a live. You pick the one that works best.
Yeah, exactly. And I found that I've done that just to try a different, and YMCA is a fine example of that. There's multiple versions of that.
Oh, yeah.
And it seems that the one that I'm the most comfortable playing, because I do a lot of hyping of the crowd during that song, with the, get the hands up. Come on, everybody. We all know this part. If I know the song and if I'm hitting my cue points the way I typically would, it really doesn't matter which version I'm using, as long as I'm doing what I'm. So anyway, a little aside.
Some are more powerful than others, though. I mean, I have that with the twist, Chubby Checker's twist. There's a version that's actually a little faster, but it doesn't have a good backbeat to it. It doesn't have the energy. There's one that's a little slower by like 1 BPM. It's got a really nice backbeat. It's just got more energy, and that's the one I use. But that's programming. I mean, you've had this happen to you before. I mean, I have. Way back in the day, there were times when I wanted a version of a song and I just couldn't find it.
Yep.
The one that comes to mind, like One Night in Bangkok by Murray Head.
Oh, yeah.
You know how hard that was to find like the radio version single that people actually like. There were so many other versions of the song out there from the play, disco versions, album versions. I wanted the single version. That was the one that was familiar, and it was so hard to find. It took me years to find that track. And
I think that came out on or at least the first copy of that, the version you're looking for, that came out on a compilation disc, like the Only 80s or Totally 80s or something similar.
Either a Totally 80s or Living in Oblivion or something of that nature. I finally ended up getting it on that. but it took forever. I mean, there are a lot of tracks like that. Men Without Hats, Safety Dance, same thing. The 12-inch, you want to get the 12-inch of a song. The 12-inch didn't sound anything like the single.
It was
Weird, extended, not the cool single that people really wanted to hear. It took years to get that one because it was only available on 45. It was not the album version. It was not the 12-inch version. And I ended up buying that sometime in the 90s. That's when I ended up getting it. But yeah, there are different versions of songs but you need to play the right version of the song. You'll find the one that works best for you. But yeah, all kind of part of the set, I guess.
Yeah.
In the power of the set.
Continuing on here. Yeah, we get distracted easily, guys. This is how it works with us. So we Run Around Suited, Pretty Woman. Then the Twist and Shout are two that I do back to back. I've never been a huge fan of the Twist from Chubby Checker, and I've tried it, and it's this. And again, I think it's probably one of those things that I'm maybe not selling it like I should.
Do you have the old Bernie Howard DJ Tool set?
I do have it. Yeah.
Okay, the version on disc 2 of that is the version you play, by the way, and try it.
Yeah, I
come
think,
out of a slow song with it early and try it.
I think probably part of it is, and I've attended a couple of shows where DJs have used that, and they have used it, and they've done a little hyping with it, and talking, especially early in the night, and it's like, maybe that's just it. Is I'm not selling it, or I'm not.
You don't have to sell that track. Just throw it on at the right time.
Yeah. And maybe that's it. I just haven't hit that right time.
And the other thing about that is, like I talked about going from happy to the twist. There's a jolt there. Mm-hmm. Sometimes when you're doing these sets, I mean, we're not talking about beat mixing right now. We're just talking about music programming. If you go from one extreme to the next, where there's like it changes, it gets people's attention. Like, whoa, that's different. If you beat mix it, sometimes they don't always notice what's happening. Like I'll do many times. Usher's Yeah, I'll mix it into Little John and the East Side Boys Get Low. And then I'll mix that into Hot in Here by Nelly. There's another one. And then when I switch genres, I go into Staying Alive by the Bee Gees out of Nelly's Hot in Here, which, by the way, mix beautifully together. Really nice. The keys work with a little bit of, it's perfect right there at the end. But anyway, people don't realize sometimes that Yeah and Get Low are different songs because they mix so well together. But if you're doing something like Happy to the Twist, they're going to notice something. Hey, and they take notice. Oh, the twist. And you don't have to sell that song.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. I'll have to give that a try this weekend. I think I've got a little bit older crowd this weekend that would probably fit in really well.
Even the young people dig it. They do it at schools. I mean, you don't necessarily have to have an older crowd for it. A wedding is fine. Your typical wedding, for me anyway, it's always worked real well. I mean, I've usually done pretty well with it, especially if I already have the dance floor packed. I've got them out there for something like Happy, then I can keep them with a twist pretty much. Usually I can.
But yeah, then from Shout, I would branch off into something into the 80s, most likely come into a more of a bubblegum type 80s thing, whatever that would be, and continuing on through my genre. We had Daniel just shared a couple of songs that he mixes together in a mini set with Uptown Funk, Jungle Boogie, the club mix of that, into Disco Inferno. And then sometimes use a version of Madonna's music from the Confessions tour that mixes into Disco Inferno. My thought with that, or question there, is, and I've had this with a couple of the shows recently, is people are asking for a specific mix of the song now, way more than I've ever seen before.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, oh, no, I want that mix. It's like, is it just because of YouTube, or is it because of internet radio, or why are these people knowing that mix is the one that they want compared to the radio version, let's say?
Well, it's happened to me a few times. The one that pops up in my head, and we've discussed this song before, Let's Get Married by Jagged Edge. Mm-hmm. There's a slow version of that no one wants. They want the remix of that song. And I think maybe through trial and error, they're realizing, hey, you know what? We don't want that one.
I get the wrong one.
There's been so many times people have asked for it, and I've played it, and there's no reaction. These people are just jerks, and they're trying to set me up. Then I find out eventually, hey, it's the wrong version. So I got the funky version of it, whatever it's called. And yeah, so it happens. The other one that comes to mind, just that everyone should know, the Macarena, there were a lot of different versions of that one too. The one that everyone wants to hear is the Bayside Boys remix.
Mm-hmm.
It's different than the other mixes, the original mix or whatever. That song was done by several people. Lost Del Mar, which is different than Lost Del Rio, which in the Bayside mix of the Lost Del Rio is the one that's popular. So I don't know. Yeah, there are a lot of, but as DJs, I think we should know what versions to play of these songs.
Yeah, that's the thing is I've got the versions that I play, and then they'll ask for a different version. I listen to it, and it's like, oh, there's a little bit different feel, and it would not fit into where I'd envision it in a set as well because it has that different feel.
Right. Well, now, I mean, with any of the music services that we use in the U.S., usually we get several different versions of a track. Mm-hmm. Well, there's the Bimbo Jones edit, and there's the, whatever. There's tons of different ones. There's a full Intentions mix. There's the Bayside Boys mix or whatever. There's tons of them. So yeah, I mean, I like to try to pick the one there's always a best mix of it too.
Yeah.
And most of the time it's the radio version. I've talked about this before. There are mixes of songs where people have turned things that are unlistenable into just magic, beautiful songs. Bimbo Jones was really good at that with things like Lady Gaga tracks. Some of those were just awful, like Paparazzi. Then they did a mix of it that's just magic. Wow, this is really good, and I like it. So, and then for our dance floors, a lot of that Gaga stuff, the early Gaga stuff, wasn't really danceable. People wanted to hear it. So, like a clever remix of it where it wasn't unfamiliar, it just kind of enhanced the tune was the way to go.
Yeah.
Telephone comes to mind, the one that she did with Beyonce. Mm-hmm. There was a special mix of Telephone that was the one to play. You didn't do the radio edit. You did this other version, and it was real solid. And a lot of times, I'll let places like XM, Sirius XM kind of dictate what the good mix is because people listen to it. So stations like Utopia and BPM, they're going to play the solid mix of these tracks. Mm-hmm. Get way off track here, but yeah, it's important to have the right version of the song. And I think it's probably important as a DJ to know what the right version of the song is. So you can just feel it. It's a black art. I don't know how to tell you it's good, but you just can.
We had a question, Bernie Howard.
Yes.
Bernie Howard, it was a DJ in the Chicago area.
Yeah.
And he put together a compilation of DJ Tools. Wasn't it called DJ Tools?
It was called DJ Tools.
And that happened, what about 1990?
3?
Yeah, it would be somewhere in that early 90s. Mm-hmm. And I think they had the top, I don't know, goodness gracious. I think when he was getting close to the end, there was 25, 30 discs.
I don't know. I have the first 10, and believe it or not, folks, these things were like $175 a disc.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's what they went for. Those were the prices on them. I know that's insanity, but that's what it was. So I literally took $2,000, or roughly $2,000, $1,500, $1,600, and I bought 10 CDs. But those 10 CDs had so much material on them, and this was back in the day when everything was available on the CD. So that's what you did. These were complete illegal bootlegs, and Bernie got in trouble for this, but the stores had them. And
this is what we used to spend big money buying. This is the Platinum series here, gang.
Oh, I have that one too.
Where is it? Right there.
Yeah, they got in trouble too.
They did. Everybody got in trouble with me. This was the Platinum series. The top
that was promo only, right?
Promo only was. I think they might have been a Platinum. No,
I know Platinum series by promo only though. I think it was promo only.
No, they had the Essentials. Promo only did the Essentials.
No, that was new. I'm pretty confident that's promo only.
Top Hits USA.
Was it Top Hits?
Top Hits did this one.
Oh.
Platinum was Top Hits. TM Century at the time, which is now Prime Cuts, they did the Mobile Beat one, and then promo only did. They did the Essentials, which was basically a Canadian disc.
There's a UK one that came out about 5 years ago.
Yeah, and I think most of those are
CDs, and it's brilliant. I own it.
Yeah, most of those are still legal. Yeah, here I am going off the camera. Sorry, being naughty. When Bernie came out with his, then let's see, the Mobile Beats. I think he's got the mobile. Yeah, there we go. You won't see this anymore. I'm trying to get this up here so you guys can see it. You can see in there, TM Century this was the Mobile Beat Top 200, and this is actually the second set of them. So the
I think I had the first set 1 through 10.
yeah, and then they went through 20, and then I think they had a dance, a country set. And,
Yeah.
oh, they had some great stuff, but all of them were deemed illegal, and I have no idea why I still have them over here.
Well, not illegal to own, but illegal to
Exactly.
distribute. But you can own them. That's okay. But yeah, so that's a history lesson for you kids.
Yeah.
Back to the Smitty set thing, I wanted to talk about a couple of mixes that I like to do. There's one in particular. There's a school that I do, and the school, it's pretty cool. They like upbeat stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's a big high school, and I prefer this one to many other high schools in the area. But they've got a thing for Sandstorm by Darude.
Oh yeah.
I mean, but they really have a thing for it. And the administration gets involved because they want the song played at a certain time, and they want to have a certain staff positioned in certain places when it plays because the kids go nuts and like 1,000 of them.
Yeah.
So, I'm basically told when I'm playing the song, so I have to build to it. And I've kind of got this thing, and this is just the evil DJ in me. I've got this thing where I'm thinking to myself, all right, administration, you think Sandstorm's bad? Let's build them up to Sandstorm and see how you feel about things. So I do. And the set I play it's a 4-song set.
Mm-hmm.
I start off with, and that's all classic techno. I start off with AB Logic's The Hitman.
Watch out. Dun, 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 dun. Yep.
Watch out for the Hitman. Dun, 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 dun.
Yep.
And then I go into Get Ready for This, 2 Unlimited.
Mm-hmm.
Then I go into Operation Blade by Public Domain. And then I play Sandstorm. They don't know what hit them. They have no idea what hit them. That is the coolest set. And the kids go nuts. And I don't even know if they know the tunes. Sometimes I do, what's the tune? Blood is Pumping. Is it Razor and Guido? I do that one sometimes too. That one's really hot. They're the techno songs, but I'll mix them all in one techno set and then explode it with Sandstorm. And then from there, you go into like whatever Party in the USA or whatever you're going to play.
Exactly.
It doesn't matter. You've peaked the set. Those are a lot of fun.
We've got a few minutes, gang. I wanted to get your input, those of you watching tonight. I want to end with a rock set. And I wanted to start with Def Leppard's "Pour Some Sugar on Me." Let's see what would you guys follow up? Give us 2 songs to follow up "Pour Some Sugar on Me," and we'll compile these and we'll put together basically what we think is our best set following up "Pour Some Sugar on Me," because "Pour Some Sugar on Me" can come out of a slow song with that "Step inside, walk this way, you and me, baby," hey, if you're using that version. So give us your thoughts for the 2 songs to follow up "Pour Some Sugar on Me."
The next song you play that set is "Living on a Prayer" by Bon Jovi. And you cut the intro and you go right into the drums. That you cut the intro.
Mm-hmm.
Because "Pour Some Sugar on Me" ends abruptly. Da-na, 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 it's perfect. Now, what you do after "Pour Some Sugar on Me," that's kind of like, I don't know. For some reason in my mind, I keep thinking "Unskinny Bop" by Poison.
Mm-hmm.
That's the song that just sticks out in my head. I don't know.
Yeah, it'll
It's
be
almost
interesting.
anticlimactic, though, but I don't know. That might be what I do.
In that set, one song that I like to use on that, and hopefully I've got the crowd that knows, is I like to use "Kisses Heaven's on Fire" in that set.
Wow. Yeah.
Towards the end of it. But if I've got the right crowd and I can do that, what a way, because you're building that rock energy, and you've done that. And then if you can come on to that one at the very end, you have sweaty drunk guys who are starting to now get naked. And that's what every dance wants.
Sweaty naked guys. Yeah.
Sweaty naked 300-pound guys out on the floor. It's like,
Yeah.
Mommy, who brought the walrus in the room? Quiet, dear. So if
I
you guys
didn't
have
catch your third song on that one.
The third one, I've got a couple of different things that I've done. I've tried to use it. Sometimes depending upon the crowd, I might try to get a female rocker in here. I've used some Joan Jett, but not not I Love Rock and Roll. I'll use one in the secondary. And then one that I like to try to sneak in sometimes is actually Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap, because it has a recognition from the AC/DC side, but it's got the rocking side from Joan Jett.
Right.
But I generally fall back to I Hate Myself for Loving You, as somewhere in there as basically a setup before. Talk Dirty to Me actually is the one I use.
Yeah, that's a good one too.
You're welcome,
That's
Howie.
a really good one.
Howie's
But
got.
you know what else you could do too? And I just thought of this. I stand by my Pour Some Sugar on Me into Living on a Prayer.
Mm-hmm.
But if you really wanted to peak this set, if you wanted to make everybody go absolutely insane and it was that crowd, you play Guns N' Roses, Paradise City.
Now, see, Paradise City would be my at the end of it. I think I would actually
Right, that's
put
how
that
you wrap the set. Yeah.
right at the right after the and there have been occasional times when I've used Twisted Sister in here. I didn't like it. I like the song, but I can put Quiet Riot and Twisted Sister and things such as that in a different set.
Yeah.
They don't quite go there. And again, Howie's now got the image of the 300-pound naked guys running around the dance floor. So you're welcome, Howie.
Thanks. Yeah, thanks to John Young.
Yeah, exactly. Nothing's going to make you have better dreams tonight than that image floating through your heads. Honey, why did you wake up screaming last night? It was the... DJ Dan mentioned ZZ Top Legs.
Yeah, you could do that. I mean, I think that what DJ Dave's thinking about is your mainstream crowd.
Mm-hmm.
I think what you're thinking about, John, is your rock crowd.
I'm looking for those, as we were saying, playing to a part of the audience. I'm looking for those 25 to 50-year-old, maybe even 55-year-old males who have heard this and they've all been drinking and partying over the years with that. Howie mentioned I Love Rock and Roll. Ian, Fat Bottom Girls. I've really been getting a...
Can't stand that tune.
But with Queen, some of the Queen stuff, there's some songs that I've never used before, and I put into. I had some Bicycle went over huge last summer.
They're goofy. Goofy. Bicycle and Fat Bottom Girls are goofy tunes. If I can get away with it, I do Crazy Little Thing Called Love.
Yep.
And if I can really get away, of course you do Bohemian Rhapsody, but really, really, really get away with it. My favorite one to play is Tie Your Mother Down. That is a track.
I've listened to that.
Hot track. If you've got that crowd that knows it, and you put Tie Your Mother, that's the biggest rocking tune, like from Queen, as far as I can think or just recall. That's the rocker. If you can get away with Tie Your Mother Down, you're playing to a really cool crowd who likes rock.
Beastie Boys, Fight for Your Right, is what Kyle's thinking for a third song. So he'd be coming out, Pour Some Sugar on Me, Living on a Prayer, Fight for Your Right. That would definitely be taking it up. Buttery mentioned Brass Monkey, which is probably, depending on my crowd of what I do for Beastie Boys.
That's almost a different set.
That's a different set for surely. I like Brass Monkey. I like actually using Brass Monkey when I'm using Violent Femmes. I'm going to use that in a similar set. They're going to all fit together. Violent. They work well, and then you can add a couple of songs in there.
But I like where he's going with this. He's trying to bridge the rock set with the hip hop set.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what I think he might be able to do to pull it off? He could do two things. He could stay Beastie Boys and do No Sleep Till Brooklyn.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Or he could do, and I just got a request for this last week, and I hadn't played it in years, the Aerosmith Run DMC's Rock This Way.
Mm-hmm.
Or Walk This Way.
Walk This Way. Yep. Walk This Way.
Yeah. So
Jane's Addiction.
Those would be good ones to do. You could try them. It might work.
Jane's Addiction, Been Caught Stealing. Oh, God, I haven't played that in forever.
Yeah, I haven't played in a long time either.
He had Kyle played it at a 50th birthday party.
Sounds about right.
Yep, that would be fitting right in there.
Yeah, and a lot of that stuff I'm starting to pull out that I haven't done for a while. A lot of the New Order, the Depeche Mode, even an Erasure here and there. And if I can get away with it, some Ministry. Oh my God, I love Ministry. But I can never play it. So.
Not so often.
But I mean, every day as Halloween was on like a Budweiser commercial.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like it's completely unfamiliar to kids of the 80s. But if I can get away with it, I definitely like to do that too. So a lot of that 80s alternative stuff's fun.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Well, Brian, we are pretty much at the end of our half-hour time frame. We should switch over here and take a little break and go to the next video where we have our questions for tonight. Let me post the video link for show 2.
Thanks for all the likes. Thanks for all the comments.
Thanks for the comments, guys. That was fun. I think that we should make part of our show every week.
Interactive.
Yeah, interactive, but having people throw some song titles out. Because it'd be kind of cool to have them throw song titles out and basically how we would mix from point A to point B off their song.
Yeah. I love the suggestions. And let me tell you something. I know we need to sign off and do something else, but I really miss working with other DJs where I have that input.
Very much so.
If I'm in the mix and I'm thinking, what do I play? What do I play? If I've got just somebody, just a different point of view to say, and it's not some drunk chick saying,
everybody wants this song, man.
Yeah, nobody wants to dance to this. Somebody who's really helpful will say, hey, dude, why don't you try this? And that's kind of what this chat was about tonight. They're like, hey, what about this? It's like, oh yeah, but what if we did this? And it's cool. I love it. So thank you for all of your comments and chiming in.
You bet. We'll catch you guys in about 3 minutes. The link should be up in the chat. We will see you in a couple on the other side. Thanks.